Hi, this is Steven.
Hey, and this is Chris.
And yeah, today we'll be playing some Foundry and it looks like Leela.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm on the left on the red playmat. And,
nice red sleeves with the red playmat.
yeah.
Sorry.
I commented about it, but like you said it was fine.
It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. So we're doing some testing here. We had a tournament coming up, or at this moment when we're recording this, the tournament still hasn't happened. It's this weekend, and we weren't sure what we were bringing.
The 4th, December 4th.
It is
2014 for those who care.
And I was pretty certain I was going to bring Leela to the tournament, and pretty certain I was going to bring Foundry to the tournament. I'm still not sure what I'm bringing.
I know for sure I'm bringing Andromeda, or it could be Gabe or Andromeda. It's hard to say, but
yeah. Tell us a little bit about the Foundry, actually, and why you chose Foundry, or why you would choose Foundry.
So the deck I'm playing is like this kind of weird Foundry Fast Advance deck, and so the reason why I chose Foundry is that like a typical Fast Advance deck, like relies on like kind of drawing agendas when you need to. And so I think the Foundry ability actually really helps you thin out your deck, so you're actually drawing into the econ and agendas like when you want them.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
I think the key though is I need to remember to trigger the Foundry.
Right.
Because this game I totally missed the trigger on next silver and
it's next browns. Yeah.
Or like and the trigger on the pop-ups. So.
Yep. Well,
but that's fine.
That's okay. I mean, to be honest, and it's not like you have to use its ability every turn. I mean, sometimes you want to keep the thickness of the deck normal so that, early aggression from the runner just doesn't yield any results. Or, because I just Maker's Eyed through 2 pop-up windows to see nothing, which is pretty... generally a good play, but, had you searched, who knows, I might have gotten an agenda, so...
That's true. But yeah, the deck runs, I think the most expensive ice is like a single roto turret. Like everything else is below 4. So you just want to just make really taxing servers with your really cheap ice.
Right. And so are there any neat tech cards that this deck uses and exploits?
So the big key for Fast Advance in this one is it's using Efficiency Committee and shipments from SanSan. So if you can score a single Efficiency Committee, like now scoring 3/2s is just possible out of hand with a single shipment from SanSan.
Right. And also a new agenda that just came out in the last pack, Bifrost Array, is being tested out here, right? So
yeah, which is like scoring. I don't know. Now the deck has, I think, there's 2 Bifrost arrays, so you effectively have 5 efficiency committees and 5 accelerated beta tests. Although beta test is the worst card in the world. It is just terrible.
Well, your luck with it is not very good. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it can be good. I've been really impressed with the ability to re-trigger Efficiency Committee. Efficiency Committee just turns into an AstroScript pilot program.
Well, it's 3 AstroScripts.
Right. Yeah.
Or like it's an AstroScript that can let you score a 2/4 out of hand as well if you have the double shipments from SanSan.
Right. So shipments is pretty cool card here. And you sneak out a beta test behind a server. I'm still trying to build my board here. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. I, full disclosure, am not a big criminal player. I'm getting more used to it. But, and triggering Leela's ability. Yes, bounce that ice. Go back to hand. Go away. Whatever that was.
Yeah, that's me whiffing.
Oh, whiffing on beta test. Yeah,
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 and not just whiffing on like the deck plays. I think like 20 ice or something. So you should hit one piece of ice. But
yeah,
like whiffing in the Foundry is just humiliating.
yeah. Oh man,
And then you
yay!
bounce another piece of ice.
That's right. I don't know why I chose that one. Probably should have chosen the one over the Adonis campaign.
Well, the Adonis, I've already pulled 3 credits off of it. Although, yeah, I guess if you're
Probably
just
should
gonna
have.
clear
Yeah.
Katie,
Yeah. So,
Speaking of cards like Katie, I've been trying to play with Shell Core, Shell Corporation.
right. How do you feel about it?
Which, um, it's really cool and slow. Oh, and yeah, there you just stole another agenda, bouncing another piece of ice.
Oh man, when it.
Leela is really like
Yeah.
if you are winning with Leela, like you just snowball out of control.
Yeah. Yeah. I maybe the thing for her is to kind of get every piece of ice on R&D res, just like run R&D aggressively, bounce remotes, bounce HQ, stuff like that.
Wow, that's how I was initially playing her. I think so. I was just going to run the central breakers and like just steal agendas out of there, and then like keep the ice thin, like to one piece of ice, so you could like inside job in or fen in.
Right.
But I've never been able to draw, uh, the test run when I need it.
Well, you got 4 pieces of ice now over R&D. That is saying, please don't come back here.
Yeah, I have lost 2 agendas. It's not a good day.
Yeah, but with make it a little bit of a replacement. With RDI in my hand, I think I'm probably going back in there somewhere.
But like, I know. I'm always amazed at the next ice. Like, yes, playing a piece of next ice effectively says, you know what 6 cards in my deck are now. But on the other hand, like, each piece of next ice, like, for the cost of 2 or 3 credits, is crazy taxing.
No, they're not too bad. They're not too bad. I like them. I like them. I like them in the Foundry quite a lot because they're cheap, and because Foundry wants to res tons of ice, it tends to. You can't really fit lots of big ice in it. It's
No.
not very economical to actually run through or to res a bunch of huge ice. Ooh, very cool.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain why you've chosen that card that is a
Peak efficiency. So that because I'm running such cheap ice, like I can just have pretty much everything always rezzed. Like, so you can easily get to board states where there are at least 5 pieces of res dice, and then peak efficiency just turns into another hedge fund, and then
sometimes even more.
Yeah, like this version doesn't yet have what's it called, the
Executive Boot Camp?
Executive Boot Camp, but that card makes the deck a lot better because suddenly you can just like res next bronze on your turn for 1 credit, go fetch another one and install it, and like in like 3 or 4 turns you will have like 6 or 7 pieces of res dice, and like now you're just peak efficiencying for like your entire economy.
Yeah. Actually, I was really impressed with that card. Executive Boot Camp gets a huge thumbs up for me. It is a great card.
On initial read, I thought the card was awful because I just thought it said, you can res an asset for 1 less, and it's just like, oh, that's so bad. Like,
no, but it's any card.
Any card.
Any card.
And I'm pretty sure it's a preemptive counter to the blackmail decks.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea. Yeah.
Like, because Valencia something or other, the 55 card Anarch that gives you, or 50 card Anarch that gives you a bad pub at the beginning of the game.
Right.
Like, Boot Camp lets you at least res a piece of ice before they start running and blowing your stuff up.
So on my side of the board, I'm just doing what looks to be pretty usual criminal stuff, right? RDI, pretty usual splash, fairy, and one of the new code gate breakers. That is Rex, and
So yeah, what are your thoughts on Rex?
I really like Rex.
Yeah, next silver, find the next one.
Yeah. Go find the other next silver. I mean, I think all of the dog breakers are good, and
Cujo is
Cujo's a
the
little bit
least
weird.
satisfying.
Yeah, I know in a previous cast, I kind of was a little bit rough on old Rex here, but I've come around to him. I think he's really quite good, and the thing that makes him great is
Enigma for
Enigma.
free.
No, Enigma for 1.
No, it's
It's 1 strength.
oh right.
Yeah, it's 1 strength.
Why isn't it strength 2? Come on.
I don't know. It's too good. It's like almost as though each faction gets a way to get through each of their nemesis ice, kind of like for.
Although Eli is everyone's nemesis.
That's yeah, fair enough. But it seems like Shapers really needed that influence. Corroder is just a poorly designed card in my opinion. It's too strong.
Too good.
Yeah,
like,
and
it should be 2, but it should be like 4 influence.
Yeah, I would say
or
that'd be good.
3. Actually, 3 would be like acceptable in my mind.
Yeah, something else like 2 is too good. But they seem to be fixing that, I think, and giving you a great in-faction answer to your, a nemesis ice, maybe, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, criminal, tend to have problems with code gates, so they've been splashing Gordian Blade and stuff like that. So, this
Pop-up
gives
windows
you
everywhere.
Yeah, pop-up windows everywhere. Fortunately for me, I don't really have to use it very much because you just let me through pretty much. But yeah, it's a great breaker. I enjoy it. It sits on the table longer than you would expect because it turns out people don't play that many code gates.
Yeah, it's like most code gates that you will see are Enigmas, toll booths.
Lotus
now
Field.
that people are playing Blue Sun, data pikes.
Yeah, data
that's
pikes,
still
Lotus
one counter.
Field. Yeah, it's 1 counter, but 1 credit. That's totally fine. But that said, max maybe 4 in a deck, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess this is an exception because we've got a bunch of code gates on the board.
Pop-up
window doesn't count. Yeah, it doesn't really count.
Like pop-up windows and next bronze. Like I guess if you're playing against like a red coat like HB deck, then you'll see like Victors, and you might see like a single Wendigo and Wayland.
Yeah. Wendigo's pretty good. I like Wendigo quite a lot.
I like all the morph ice. Like I think the morph mechanic is really cool and makes Wayland like
makes it more interesting. That's for sure.
And a lot stronger. Like just I don't know, being able to change and being like your Corroder is breaking this really efficiently. Well, now your Fem won't.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on the 6/3 break
destroying
ice.
a program and turning like.
No, it's a good one. It is a good one. I'm just not 100. I've never seen
Strength
it being
3.
used. It costs 6. Yeah, 3 is such a bad number for a breaker that destroys programs because Mimic, and if you change it into a code gate, Yogg gets through it for free. So, I don't know. I could take or leave that one, but the other ones I rather enjoy. All right, so next silvers for everyone.
Next silver with a ton of subroutines.
Yeah, femming that was a bad idea. No, I really had no way to get through. I'm looking for my barrier breaker, and so what I learned, I think I have a special order in hand. If I could stop shuffling my cards, I could probably see it. But one of the main things I didn't know about this deck when I started playing it, I have a link to the list. It's not my list. I'm just borrowing it. But the oh yes, scoring the Vitruvius with two counters. That's pretty good.
I love Vitruvius. Like over advanced Vitruvius, it is as good as Project Atlas.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's very good, and we have a peak efficiency for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I peak efficiency for 7. I don't know. I really like Vitruvius. Like I could have just peak efficiency 3 times and got 21 credits.
Yeah. Wow. You could have. You
know.
could have. Wow. That's
Like,
pretty
because
good.
you're playing criminal and you can break in, like, it's not very wise of me to do that, but I could.
Right. Um, so what I was saying about this deck is it only plays one barrier breaker, and it's Corroder. And because of that, I probably should have special ordered for it first, but I didn't know that, and I was thinking like, wait a minute, it's got to have a central
You,
breaker, but no.
like, once you had the fairy out, you probably wanted to get. I feel like that's kind of what you. The way you play criminal is like you get the thing that's going to break the most and the run subroutines first.
Right.
Like,
And then you get the thing that stops you from
losing it.
losing the game.
So it's
yeah.
like, if you have a fairy, like it's usually Sentry Breaker. In Criminal, it's usually a fairy. Then you go fetch your Fractor, and then finally get your Code Gate Breaker.
Right. I kind of did it out of order. That might have cost me.
Crescentus is not good against this deck.
No, it's not. It's not.
I like
No,
the card, though.
I do
It's
too. I like to see criminals playing it, and it's really strong.
It hoses Blue Sun.
It really hoses Blue Sun. Yes, it does. It's really good against Blue Sun. So I'm spending a lot of money here to quality time. I'm trying to find my breakers. I must not have had a special order in hand.
I'm not.
Oh, that was Mr. Lee. It was a Mr. Lee.
Are you not playing same old things in that deck?
No. That's part of my. This was during my same old thing. What do you call it? Boycott. I'm trying to get away from that card.
I think it's really useful in Criminal because you can usually draw into one of your 3 special orders, and like, I know it's like really lame and like a waste of a turn, but like, same old thing special order is like pretty good.
Yeah, I probably should have done that. But yeah, I mean those barriers just keeping me out right now. What I would do if I was you is just totally advance behind it, unimpeded. Like don't
I
even
am
bother.
looking for an agenda is the thing.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, like I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to overdraw because if I hit too many agendas, like you can walk into HQ whenever you want, and that's the problem right now.
Right. Right.
Like I've got the scoring server locked down. Like you're never getting in.
Nope. Yeah, I'd have to get pretty lucky here.
But yeah, I think the other problem is like, while you do have Crescentus, so you can like, hide a next silver. Like next silver, even if you do get your Corroder out, is really taxing. Like right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 subroutines. So without knowing what that last piece of ice is, I honestly can't remember right now. But it's still 6 to get into R&D.
Yeah.
Like that's
pretty good for you.
And that only cost me like not that much.
So here we have a new current. It just came out. This is the criminal current. Unscheduled maintenance, which I believe has Ian Sterling on the image, I believe.
I think so. I think you're correct, yeah.
How do you feel about that current?
So I had this discussion with my friend Ivan today earlier, and that I think both the unscheduled maintenance and whatever the Anarch one is called,
Scrubber or
Scrubber.
Scrubbed,
are both more powerful effects than the Net Celebrity. But Net Celebrity is universally useful, whereas unscheduled maintenance and Scrubbed are very narrow use cases, but they're way more powerful.
Huh. I agree with you on Scrubbed. I'm not 100% sure about unscheduled maintenance. This is sort of a test for it, but the idea with the deck...
Had you got it out a lot earlier, like that would have really slowed me down.
Yeah, it would have. It would have been good.
Like, it's a very good card early on.
Yeah.
Not so good now.
No. I wish it cost 0. I think for 0 it would be a better card. I mean, obviously it would be, but the main problem with it is it costs 1 and it's a do-nothing card initially, right?
It's also anti-synergy with Leela.
How do you
just
figure?
Because, like, you want to be bouncing ice, and you bounce ice when they score an agenda, but when they score an agenda, you lose unscheduled maintenance.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Huh.
But, like...
So maybe Leela just really doesn't want currents.
Not really.
Yeah.
But like, so for a while I was playing the CT deck that just ran like Parasite Recursion and Unscheduled Maintenance, and you would just blow up ice, and you'd slam Unscheduled Maintenance, and you could like consistently keep them off of, you know.
Oh man.
Like really protecting up a server.
So one of the saddest legworks I've ever had. Saddest legwork that helps de-res your bronze.
Yeah. Although de-resing bronze means it's now cheaper to get through the next silvers.
That's true. That's true. I think though I'm kind of boned right here. I really need to get my fractor out fast, but cards are not cooperating. So the Foundry, I'm really interested in sort of like design philosophy on the Foundry, because it seems to hurt itself, you know, just by thinning out the deck. By thinning out the deck, it makes it sort of a weaker identity. So in a way, it's kind of an identity that doesn't have an ability. It's only like safety for beta test sometimes.
Yeah. As we saw in this game.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
There's the fractor.
There's the reactor. Finally got it. And I do have some money, so it's not impossible. I'm not sure if I have enough clicks to get through all that stuff. And then if you res another next in front, I might be totally boned here. So
I think with like the Foundry, you need to like really think about how you're playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to design around it. So like that's why I think the fast advance is really good. So like I have pulled out a bunch of ice out of my deck.
Well, just to be clear, it's not necessarily advanced. It's not fast advance from hand as much as it is. You have to slow advance something first, right?
Yeah, like at CI, you do like I believe I am playing Biotic, so like I can double Biotic the efficiency committee out.
Oh, all right. So we've got we've got a Bifrost array, and you decide to not trigger.
Yeah, I have been snubbed by it once.
Oh no, you're running it. You're running it. You're running it.
Oh no!
Don't do it.
No!
Don't do it. No.
See, every time I just whiff.
You're the most unlucky person with that card. Oh man, that's too bad.
But I believe, yeah, you do yank off the ice off of R&D, which is a good play. But I think that's why I like advanced it twice and scored it, because I knew you were going to bounce a piece of ice.
Right.
So I think I do reinstall.
Hey, you have protection.
No, I had an agenda in hand. That's why.
Oh, okay. You also have protection. You have a Vitruvius, so if there are two agendas.
Yeah, I think that was my philosophy. Like, because you're gonna run archives, and I'm gonna pull two back. Because I'm pretty sure I did hit two agendas.
Yeah, I mean, worst case, you hit three of them, but you're only playing, I believe, 2-pointers in this deck, so there's no chance of you actually losing the game off of an archives run here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Just nothing. Hedge fund.
I made a test. It's a trap. It seems so good. So the Foundry is one of those ideas that you really need to think about how you're designing. So like, I think there are a lot of IDs in Netrunner right now that require no thought. Like, in far as deck design, like, for instance, if you were playing Engineering the Future, and like an Engineering the Future deck, you can pretty much swap in any ID and it should be fine.
Uh-huh.
But like, I don't think you could take this Foundry deck and then just put in Engineering the Future.
No, I don't think so.
Like,
I mean, you just straight up lose, right? I mean, you wouldn't have enough ice. You'd have crappy ice. You'd gain money.
I guess I think it's more a symptom of, like, I guess Jinteki and Wayland, and even NBN. Like,
sure,
pretty much any identity is interchangeable. Like, you get, like, so if you're playing Building a Better World, like, yeah, you get some upside if you don't intentionally put in extra operations, but you're still getting upside.
Right, right, right.
But like you could easily put in Grendel, assuming you meet the influence restriction. Like,
So in other words, you can't just throw any other thing in this deck. You have to kind of build around
the
its.
fact that you were going to be like just removing ice out of your deck and thinning out
Sure,
R&D.
sure. So,
Yeah.
is there any merit to playing less ice and more operations, like non-trashable operations?
In the Foundry?
Yeah, like I was thinking, what if you play just a bunch of really big ice, like not a bunch, but maybe 9 big ice,
So
kind of like
instead of
cerebral
playing,
imaging.
like, I think 12 is the smallest amount of ice because you still need to hit one.
Right,
like,
you gotta, yeah, that's true. That's true.
like, because I did try that, and so you do free up a bunch of deck space, but because you're playing 12 ice, then you're like kind of encouraged to play like a bunch of expensive ice. Now you're playing like 3 toll booths, and like once you res another, like the first toll booth, you fetch another one. But like it's gonna take a couple turns before you can res another toll booth.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
Like,
Yeah.
like the nice thing about Next Silver and Pop-Up Windows, Eli's, is like you res it, you can fetch another one, and like pretty much the next turn you can slam it, and it's a pretty reasonable assumption that you will have enough money to like res it again, like res the one you just installed. All right, so we're switching sides. I am now playing my Leela deck against your Foundry deck.
Yeah, a couple of different philosophies here, but still the same kind of ice. Well, same number of ice. We're both playing quite a high number of ice in our Foundry decks. And letting you in. See a pop-up window.
Yeah.
And going R&D. Pop-up window. Go find another pop-up window. That's 3 pop-up windows. Oh, God.
I love, like, it's such a good card thematically.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, it's just like, oh, damn it. Like, it's just annoying.
It's one of the best cards for Foundry, just simply because you can get them so fast. Just you want them. You always want pop-up window. Like,
And
sure,
you
they
want
parasite it, but whatever. Who cares?
And you want them immediately. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is really good in Foundry is because you play a bunch of like ice that is susceptible to parasites. Playing Ancestral Memories is
Archive Memories.
Archive Memories.
Ancestral
is
Visions
really good.
mixed with Archive Memories gets you Ancestral Memories.
I just keep on thinking Ancestral Recall, like Magic, just like draw 3 cards.
Yep.
But like, you want pop-up windows like you never want to draw a pop-up window like past turn 7, like. And so I guess the Foundry just like snags those as fast as possible. Just the grossest.
Just face plant into all of my pop-up windows. Oh,
like,
I
that's
love
really
it.
taxing.
Yeah.
Like, it gets you 3 credits, and then
And then you see Jackson. Do you want to go broke to trash it? I don't know. I wouldn't. That's tough. That's really tough. Oh. All right, Siphon, but bounces off a roto turret.
But I just siphoned, like, that's an okay play. Like, I still drained you for 4 credits, and I didn't have to take any tags.
Yep, that's true.
I know. I think a lot of people play Siphon only when they know they can get it off. Like,
it's good to res ice. It's really good to res ice.
I think Siphon is just a good card for like forcing the ice res. Which, like, if you're playing things like Crescentus and like Power Shutdown, you do actually really want to just force that ice res. So, I don't know. I think Criminal is all about presenting people with like anything you do is like a bad option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, resing the Rototurt there, like, is like pretty lame because that's a trick. Like, I am not gonna like waltz into that now. Like, I know your trap.
Yep. So I spent my whole turn drawing up with Jackson. I was stuck with a bunch of agendas in hand, so I just got rid of those. And well, you did not run Jackson that turn, so it gives me an extra turn. I would recommend always running Jackson or running the archives again, just to get rid of him.
See, I'd rather like you draw a bunch of your deck and just like start pitching, like, because you'll get to a certain point where you like overdraw, and now you're at that like really awkward. Well, I can either put the fourth agenda in there, or now I need to start discarding operations.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
That's a fair point.
yeah. Like, I think Jackson can like very much lead to, like, yes, it can save you, but it's also kind of like a double-edged sword.
So, would you peak efficiency for 3 or for 4 here?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if I needed the money, like, so say you just got siphoned, like, it's a great recovery card. Like, you pay 1 credit, and now you're up to, like, it's not optimal to like Beanstalk royalties, but it's not a bad play either.
Mm-hmm. All right, using Jackson, you are going back in, and I'm going to get rid of my. I shuffled a bunch of NAPDs into the deck because.
The other thing about,
yeah,
sorry,
no, it's okay. I was just going to say that while I don't mind you spending your entire turn and all the cash you have to steal them so much, I don't want to get that far behind this early. So.
the other thing about leaving Jackson on the board longer is that you can kind of strategically figure out when you want to run. So, like, say you had an indexing in hand.
Oh boy!
Like, oh,
your favorite card. All right, I'm running my beta test, and it looks like I hit something. So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but like, you can kind of like wait until you know there are a bunch of agendas. Like, they're going to shuffle them back because they have a Jackson on the board. Like, you know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you kind of wait and like try to optimize the number of agendas in R&D when you run.
That makes sense. I think that makes sense. So, that was a pretty good beta test. Got a Heimdall, got an Architect, and
Merlin.
Merlin.
Yeah, hitting 3 ice. Pretty good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I run with the security testing to gain 2 credits back to make that pop-up window run a little less terrible, and to get the medium counter and then run again.
Yep, it's a pretty good play. Oh, I remember this game now.
Yeah. I really do like putting, like, I love security testing, like putting it on weird places, like, because most people, like, it only lives on archives or like an unprotected remote. But like once you start playing with like Nerve Agent and Medium, suddenly it's like, wow, I'll make a run to gain some money, put a virus counter, and then make a better run.
Right.
But if I can draw my doppelganger, that's when I'll be like really happy.
I really like Doppelganger. I've been playing it this last week, and very, very underrated. Very, very underrated card. Getting a free run is fantastic, and nowadays criminals can get it anywhere, so it's easy enough, you know. Yep. So install something behind the Heimdall, install something in a brand new remote, and it looks like you're going to security test that remote.
Yeah. Security testing is pretty good. It is the criminal magnum opus.
It is, yeah. Is it? It's kind of like, what is it? What is that? Trimath? It's like a Trimath, really.
Trimorph without like,
but without the ability
shooting
to
you
trigger,
in the face if it dies.
right. Yeah. Or the ability to trigger any other run events or anything.
I don't know. Security testing is cool just because you're a criminal, like you're playing with just a bunch of run events. So you get extra value out of your dirty laundries, or you can siphon. Or no, you can't siphon.
Oh man! All right, so 2 Galahads on R&D now. So double Galahad, triple pop-up window.
That's a lot of ice.
Yeah, and since we played this, I was only playing one of the peak efficiencies. Because I always thought, like, that's so niche, you won't get your ice resed fast enough. But the Foundry reses ice really fast.
It's kind of incredible, like, because you just start pulling ice out of the deck.
So I would get 9 credits for it, or net 8 credits. That's ridiculous. I don't know, man. I think you play 3 in this deck. I mean, it's just it becomes a hedge fund. Like you don't have to be playing the game that long to be getting the bonus from it. I think.
Yeah, like you need 5 pieces of res dice, and I mean, if you had 5 the moment you scored your first beta test,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, even as like a beanstalk, like it's a perfectly fine card. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
netting 3 credits, it's like that's oh, I'd even play it for 2. Like it's not optimal, but if you need the money, if you need the money,
Sure. Yeah. I agree. So I got my Adonis run res rather over there, and installing some stuff behind the Heimdall. Heimdall is a good man right now.
yeah, I'm in just a bad position right now.
So why is Leela? Like, I know that I kind of know the answer to this, but you tell me why Leela is not as good as Andy.
Like I think all the criminal runners are like kind of equally good. It's just Andromeda provides so much consistency. And that's
Right.
like it's hard to beat the like if you know like so I was thinking about this today, like, oh, if you're playing Breach in your deck and you like the person you're playing against is uh Blue Sun, like you know the first turn if they can, they will overstate AI a curtain wall. So it's like, okay, just mulligan into your Breach. Like that's pretty easy to do with when you're drawing 9 cards.
Sure.
So like I know Andromeda is strong because you just have this power opening, and you're hoping that you're giving like some ability that you can kind of consistently trigger or have some upside that like your strong opening will just carry you through the rest of the game. Whereas like Leela's really cool. Like so if you start winning, you can like res ice and like keep on scoring. But like you get into a state like we're in right now, and my ability is not helping at all.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I'm having real trouble. Like all your ice is rezzed. I'm having trouble like getting rid of it. Like, it is very problematic.
In some way, though, this kind of deck that tries to res everything as fast as possible may be a kind of counter to Leela. It's a very bad matchup for Leela, I think, just simply
Yeah.
because it nullifies her ability. She's like a no ability, 0 link runner with the normal stats, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of rough. I think until we see some more stuff that allows her to trigger that ability, I'm not sure if we will. She'll be kind of the same for a while, you know. She'll be kind of like that, just okay. But maybe that's okay. Like maybe just runners need to have good matchups and bad matchups. And who plays the Foundry anyway tournaments, right? I mean, you'll see you'll see 1 or 2 people maybe at Worlds, maybe, but like not maybe a local tournament.
You'll see one like. I feel like when you go to a tournament, you'll see a smattering of decks. Like you will face the odd person who's still playing a Redcoats deck because they're really good at it. And, like,
Right.
Or like the odd super modernism deck that is not like a Blue Sun deck. But
How do you feel about the Grail suite now that we've got almost all of it?
it's very cool. I don't know how good it is. Like
Yeah.
I'm still not sold.
Yeah.
Like yes, you can get weird wins out of the blue with Merlin. Like especially if you can like triple Merlin early. But
Yeah. I just think that they're too easily parasited. They have a lot of the same problems.
Galahad is too easy. Like
Right.
I think you should only ever have one Galahad installed, and then like you would keep the rest in your hand.
Yeah, yeah. And ultimately, I ended up taking out every of the Grail Ice from this deck except for Merlin, because Merlin
It's
can
a
win the
code
game.
gate.
And yeah, Merlin wins the
code
game.
gate.
Yeah, it is a code gate. It's awesome.
And like when you're playing against HB, you think like, oh, what's the worst piece of ice I could hit? And you're like, well,
Roto turret. You say roto turret. I'll put down my mimic. Run. Oh.
or yeah,
Take 4, maybe 6 damage. It's pretty mean.
yeah. Yeah, this is where you just win. I hate NAPDs. Ugh.
Well, I mean, you got your Central Breakers out. We got two of
Yep.
them. Breach and Alias. That's
You just got too much res dice. That's the problem.
yeah. I mean, hitting on a beta test can just push you so far ahead. This is why you hate it so much. It's such a swingy card. It's probably one of the swingiest cards in the game. You hit 3, ice. You're great. You could possibly just win from that, but you miss, hit 3 agendas, you lose right there.
It's like next design. Like next design, you think is like giving you a power opening like Andromeda, but it's actually just adding a way more variance into your deck.
Yeah. Yep.
Sad day.
It's okay. How do you feel about Foundry in general?
I think the Foundry's pretty good. It's just like, unfortunately, I don't think like a big glacial deck is right for Foundry. Like,
right. Small little dorky ice seems better.
Yeah, like you just want a bunch of ice that turns into taxing ice.
Right. So what other things might you add to this Foundry deck or a Foundry deck now that we've tested about a little bit with it?
Like, unfortunately, like next design is just required. Or the next suite, I think, is just required.
Yeah.
Like, it would be a hard sell to make a Foundry deck that doesn't run like the 6 next ice.
It just works so well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you want to run Eli's and like things that are just taxing but cheap.
Right. Well,
Like,
is Eli going to be any good anymore? I mean, it seems like their target. Eli's got a huge target on his back right now.
so what's killing Eli right now?
Well, I think as much as I hate to say it, like Lady is probably the best thing against Eli right now. But also, I mean,
That's good, but like you're still forcing them to just waste counters and
yeah.
like you're happy if they're spending counters on an Eli because you're also playing the next silver, and next silvers get a ton of subroutines, so
Sure.
like that's even more things that they need to break. So it's not so bad.
Thanks, everybody, and let us know what you think about these new IDs, the Foundry and Leela. And if you have any suggestions for how to go forward with new Foundry, new Leela decks, go ahead and post them in the comments. And happy net running.